Super. So you guys have you've hit several of the keywords. That's awesome. Now behold the majesty of my. So this is the very first bug report. Grace Hopper literally found a moth in the computer that caused it to short out. That's the first bug report. That's kind of cool. When we talk about zero bugs, the first thing we have to do is describe what a bug is, right? It's fairly straightforward. So this is what our teams came up with. Non-performance against stated criteria, or introduction of a feature that causes old things to stop working against stated expectations. Or code behavior that is not reasonably unstated, much like we were talking about in the BDD thing. Was it implicit that words be spelled, right? That if you hit go, you went, right? So, what is not a bug? What is not a bug is important. Consequences that are outside the control of the development team, I maintain, are not a bug, right? Because I'm saying, I'm kind of, if you know Philip Crosby on quality, he talked about conformance to requirements. I'm kind of a Crosby guy. Because there are things that could happen, but if it's outside our control, don't make me responsible for it. Either give me the responsibility or it's not my bug. It may be a bug, but it's not my bug. And it's not part of my zero bug guarantee. This is what I want to jump on quite a bit. Unintended behavior when we've not had access to similar environments. This is where, when I've gone to production and there's a firewall or there's a load balancer that I've never had access to in a dev environment. Or I'm running on Oracle and I used to, in my test environment, I'm running on Postgres. Or I'm running on a SAN instead of a local hard disk drive. Right? Those are the kinds of things that drive you crazy. Managers can fix that. One last thing, this is where it was interesting what Mitu was saying this morning about what is a bug. For me, she was talking about, many people talk about a bug not making it to production. Frankly, in our world, I hold this to a higher standard, and that's kind of what she was referring to. And that is, the bug doesn't escape the sprint. Otherwise, you end up spending too much of your capacity on fixing bugs from the prior sprint. And it allows sloppy work to go. We have a hybrid team, some of our people, some of a client team. That client team is spending 70% of their capacity on bug fixes. Guess what? They're not delivering many new features, right? That's what quality does for you. So here's some fancy word art. Hopefully you guys will be impressed. XP is the intersection of management and leadership and people and learning and practices, which, by the way, you guys hit a lot of these on your buzzwords. So this was what I think the number one job as a manager is. So as all you guys will be managers someday, hopefully the best of you stay developers for quite a while, but you'll probably end up being management sometime. And that's to provision the team. To put the team together is the single most important thing I think a manager can do. Here's the deal. Great people, not cheap people. Don't just take the people you can get. Have high standards and hold those high standards. Great people. And then, oh, by the way, because we're going to ask those great people to do great things. If you hire not smart people that cheated on their exams and don't know how to write code, you're going to get bad results. Okay? I think it's the number one thing for the Indian industry is to figure out how to move from cheap to quality and understanding of innovation. So this is the key part of it. Again, for management, I want to reward you. I want to give you feedback for development, not just getting a new title, right? What do? After 3 years, you become a senior. After 5 years, you become a manager. So right from my book, when you're starting to become, frankly, a decent intro developer, you're promoted. You guys know the 4 stages of teams: form, storm, norm, perform. So what happens when we got this 20, 30% rate of people leaving companies? That means every year somebody's leaving that team. So they do form, and then they storm, and they might start norming, then they go back to square one. Then they go back to square one. So they're never getting to excellence. They're never getting to performance. So management can help. Reward for development, not just for titles. Or give out titles like candy. Who cares? I think Vibhu mentioned it earlier. You want to be an architect? You're now an architect. You want to be the manager? You're the manager. You want to be the lead? You're now the lead. Awesome. Set expectations. Set high expectations. Bring the team together. We were up in Pune in one of the the people that attend and said, well, that's really easy to say, but it's hard to do. Yep. There are many of these things that are hard to do. That's why you can add value. Have the team sit together. It seems so simple, but it's fundamental to XP. Now, I will say that we know from industry data about 40% of teams are dispersed. What are you going to do about that? How are you going to optimize it? Until we get teleportation, we're going to have to figure that out. But that's what management's challenges are. I didn't say any of this was easy. Okay? Support learning. You guys hit it on your buzzwords. Support learning. Does anybody have a training budget that they can spend? Anybody? Couple? Oh, nice. Awesome. Support learning. Do book studies at lunchtime, right? You guys do that, right? Read and share books. It's one of my biggest disappointments in America. I go out and start teams about once a month. And I ask that question, what's the last good book you read? So here's a trick question. What's the last good book you read in the last year? Anybody? Anybody? Have you read a book in the last year? Oh, nice. See, there you go. Good job, Amit. But, oh, by the way, you're in the 1 percentile. You don't have to be smart. You just have to read what the smart guys wrote, right? There's a lot of smart people that have written a lot of good stuff. All you have to do is avail yourself to their wisdom.
We can be capable of. So make it a habit, like when you're on a plane, or just buy something, right? Read. That's going to keep your mind always going, right? So otherwise it just becomes static and you're only looking for ways. Google is not the best place to read something. You know?
Get off of Facebook. Get off of Facebook or WhatsApp. Do the learning.
One input here. Nowadays we have a lot of videos, no? Like Udemy we have, Coursera we have. We can watch videos also, no? Why should we read?
Have you watched a good one in the last month?
Sorry?
Have you watched a good video on technical topics in the last month?
Many, yeah.
Awesome.
Last 1 year, yeah.
That's a great answer. I totally support. I get that I'm old school, that I read paper. I still read newspapers, so I get that I'm a dinosaur. But videos are awesome. We were just talking about the video series, The TDD is Dead. The David Heinemeier Hansen and Kent Beck and Martin Fowler got together. If you haven't seen that one, do that. Watch that. It's like it's a 6-part series, right, on YouTube. But a wonderful discussion about what is test-driven development, what is unit testing, how does it work. That's an awesome video that's equivalent to that. Great. What's your favorite blog, technical blog?
This code project blogs I always used to read.
Project blog, okay.
Code project.
Core projects. Oh, awesome. And again, I support that. And number one, oh, by the way, every one of you guys should be writing, creating content, talking about your own journey, because that's the way you're going to learn. The old thing is, how do you learn? You teach. Right? So write it, and that'll help it get it into your brain. So again, I think that's management's number one job. So customer availability, here's another wild one. What does XP say? It says you have an on-site customer. The manager can help with it. This is something the team is going to struggle with, but a manager can help with. So whether it's on-site or virtual, come on. This, as you know, supports the requirements questions. We're talking in the BD session about the importance of that conversation that goes with the card, right? If they're not available, you can't have that confirmation and conversation and clarification. You get opportunity to get early feedback on stuff. So again, none of us are perfect. All we do is get quicker feedback so that when we get off course, we get feedback quickly enough to get back on course. That's where our super efficiency comes from. Except before the, hopefully you guys are all doing early acceptance. You're not waiting until the end of the iteration to get acceptance. That's what on-site customer can help you do. Oh, by the way, this helps you get 0 bugs escaping the sprint, because you do early acceptance and they say, no, that's not what I wanted, and you go fix it. You still have time to fix it. Now, this might be hard. Right? You might have contracts that say, no, we're not going to do that. Or your job is only DevOps. We'll take care of everything else somewhere else. This is a hard challenge. You might need to get influence over time how those contracts are written to support on-site customers. I think there's a lot of good movement. We're talking to some folks up in Pune with Vibhu. And we're talking about how people are getting to not just be specialists, not just a QA team or not just a dev team, that all the functions are coming together. That's the awesome trend and needs to continue. So for outsourced projects where you don't have, where you're not a product company, you need to have access to this customer. It's super, super hard. Mita talked this morning about because they were a product company, everybody was together. That's a superpower. That is a superpower. The big giant companies would kill to have that superpower. So if you have that power, keep it. If you don't have that power, go get it. So if you understand the problem, that helps you write better software. There's a phrase that's over you is the domain. What is the domain? Why are you doing what you're doing? If the team understands, I think somebody wrote it, the team understands why they're doing what they're doing, they can make their own decisions about how to deliver quality. And don't forget, because again, that's going to keep you engaged. In the United States, they've got a survey they've been running for the last 10 years, and there's some horrible number. It's like 20% of the people are engaged at work. And that number's been constant for 10 years. That's repulsive. That means 80% of the people, I might be off 10%, 80% of the people don't feel engaged at work. So of course they're not giving their best effort. Of course they're not committed to quality because they're not engaged. They don't know why they're there. They just show up, drink the free soda, and go home. Don't do that. Management can help with that. Now here's a wild one. This is crazy talk. You ready for crazy talk? Gemba walk. You guys know or have heard within the Japanese Toyota production system, they talk about the Gemba walk. Go see, go visit. My recommendation from you is go visit your customer. Take the whole team and go visit the customer. Wow. Wait. My customer is in London. Yes. So, how much does it cost? I did a swag on a 5-person team, and I get that it's not the whole program, it's just a 5-person team. Taking 5 people for 2 weeks, the United States cost about that much. Now, on a small project, you probably wouldn't do that. But on a big project, absolutely you can do it. But again, this is management. The team's doesn't have the power to say we're going to book tickets. Management can help. But if you do it and you go and you eat with people and you connect with them and you understand their problems they're going to try and solve, you will deliver a better product with higher quality. Guarantee it. There's a great white paper on solutionsiq.com from a gal named Monica Yap who wrote about a multi-location team and the super high quality they got. Jeff Sutherland, one of the fathers of Scrum, also describes it in one of his books about a multi-location team. And this is fundamental to high performance and quality. So, because we need to make sure, excuse me, when the team goes, that they can participate. It's not a tourist trip. You're not going to Disneyland. You're going to go and you're going to be part of the product definition. You're going to the backlog. You're going to understand the tests and you're going to understand the scenarios so that when we, much like we were doing with our BDD experience, we can add scenarios to the stories. We can say, oh, you forgot, blah. That's supported by this. So support excellence. Stop hiring copy-paste developers. Stop it. I see them all the time. These are people that have 1-year experience 7 times. Stop. And you can smell them. You just run those code analyzers like the guy was talking about yesterday, and you'll see the lines of copy code, right? Stop. They don't understand object orientation. We get into clients, and there's a million line stored procedure, about half of which is dead code because of this. So, but it's not an Indian problem. It's an international problem. But stop hiring those people. And if you're on a team and you know what's happening, get rid of them. Go to the manager and say, manager, please get her off of here. She's not doing what we need to do. She's not helping. Test always. Any questions? TDD, BDD, ATDD? Right? Then if you take nothing else from the last 2 days, take this. When you have a bug, write a failing test before you fix the software. Get a failing test, then change the software to make it pass. If you do nothing else, do that. Review always. Right? What is XP? It's a good set of good procedures that we said we just do more of. Is it good to do testing? Yes. We'll test all the time. Is it good to do code reviews? We'll do code reviews all the time. At worst, if you've got singleton developers, make sure that you're doing code reviews daily. Daily. Don't wait to the end of the week to do a code review. It's heinous. Those people that have that, there's a tool called Crucible, right, that supports code review. Every time I see it, I want to run away because it's a bad smell. It tells me that code reviews is, I got to go to the senior guy. He's going to review my code when he's ready, and if I'm lucky, I'll get comments back that I understand, and then I can make those changes and submit them again. I was working for a unit of Oracle, and I asked somebody about this, how tough this was. She said when they checked in code, 27 people had to review it. How do you implement anything when 27 people have to review a chunk of code? It's insane. Integrate often. CI, right? Any questions? CI, all the time, multiple times a day. If your team's not integrating multiple times a day, that's a bad smell. Check in, run your tests, compile, run your tests multiple times a day. Every now and then we'll hear, I'll ask somebody in an interview, I said, how often do you guys integrate? Oh, once a week. Just say no. Don't do that. Again, I'm talking about management. Management is setting these expectations. So managers provide the hardware necessary to do a good job. I'm spending, I don't know how many locks it is, $50,000 on you, right? $100,000 on you. I'm spending $50,000 on him. I'm spending $100,000 on you. You're much more valuable. Well, what am I doing about it? Well, your computer costs $600. I mean, all dollars, sorry. $600. I can't give you a solid-state drive. Oh, come on. Every developer should have a solid-state drive in their computer, every one of them. And they should all have big monitors and comfortable chairs. And they need test environments where their tests can run in less than 15 minutes. That's a manager's job. Teams, you need to raise that impediment at your retrospective if it's not happening. Okay? Coding katas, you guys have heard katas, right? Anybody asking for bravery, anybody not know what a kata is? Thank you. Thank you for being brave. A kata is a warm-up exercise. So if you really, right, if you're an athlete at all, you just don't get out and start playing cricket immediately. You don't immediately start kicking the ball in football. You warm up. So there are coding katas online. So find it. Find one and spend 15 minutes in the morning getting your brain set up. This is not production code. It's just opportunities to use techniques. Okay, coding katas. And again, what management could do is say, it's okay for 15 minutes in the morning that you're not working on production code. Management creates space to allow that to happen. You guys are athletes. The developers are athletes, so we need to start treating them that way. Here's the last one. It's a subtle sales pitch. Provide coaching to your athletes, managers. Go get great guys and help them. Go get great men and women and help your people get better. If you hired the best cricket player in the world, would you give him a coach still? Would you help him condition and give him coaching? Of course you would. So we went and hired these brilliant people, and we're paying them good money, and we don't coach them. We don't let them warm up, and we don't coach them. Everybody needs coaching. You will get better results. This is all, by the way, this is all about results. Is get better results via coaching. Ask for help. Ask for help. I've got a team right now. Average experience is probably 20 years for the 6 guys on the team. They still need coaching. They still need to remember to, hey guys, you're logging, but you're not logging intelligibly, and we don't have any log viewers ready, and the product owner's not going to think about that. It's on you guys to help think about that. That's what a coach can start to help you do. So set standards high. All you guys, I'm hoping, will go back and say, we need to be doing XP. If we're not doing pairing, we're not doing TDD, we're not doing CI, we're not worrying about simple design, right? We're not doing simple design and designing the patterns, we're not doing XP. But if you do it, you will get better results. So this is the bottom line. Sell better, not cheaper. This is where management can come in. Don't sell the stuff where it's $36 an hour versus $34 an hour. Stop. Do high quality delivered early. That's what you should be selling. This is kind of concept, I was trying to think of what a good analogy is. The path builder. This is where management has the opportunity and a luxury, quite frankly, to look ahead. The team's down here working. They're I don't know what analogy you want to use. They're building the road, they're climbing the road, they're climbing the trail. The manager has the opportunity to say, which way are we going to go? We could go DevOps. We could go cloud. What are we going to do here, right? And if you don't, you're just going to keep doing what you're doing. The old saying, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to get the same results, right? It's up to management to start saying, we've always developed this way. Now we're going to change. That's a manager's job. That's that path builder. Technical guardrails. Guys, you can write anything you want, any language you want, as long as it's Java. That's what, right? We can say. Now, we might say frameworks. Oh, you got a new Spring framework? Great, we'll use that. We've got a new unit test framework? Awesome. We're going to move from Eclipse to IntelliJ for IDEs? Fine, right? But the management provides those guardrails that says within these bounds, here's where you guys can go be excellent. The manager should look for impediments the team does not see. Now, this doesn't absolve the teams of raising impediments, but as a manager, I can say, none of you guys, is anybody here at this table, I'll pick on you guys. Thank you for sitting at the front. Anybody have a solid state disk on your development machine or your work one? Yes, yes, but I got 4 no's and 2 yeses. Management has to say, that's not okay, because you guys might not think about it. God, I heard those things are expensive. They're like 3 times as expensive as a regular spinning disk. I'm not even going to ask for one. Management has to say, this is going to impact, this is going to allow you seconds a day benefit. Well, seconds a day equals minutes a month equals hours a year. That's a good investment for me to make. The team may not think about it, but manager can. So, again, out of your retrospectives, there's 2 secret sauces in Agile, Scrum, XP. One is testing. The second is retrospectives. If you will do those 2 things and you screw up everything else, you'll get better. Because retrospectives give you an opportunity to be better, to look back and say, how are we going to get better next time? What experiments are we going to run to get better? It's not about saying that the curry was cold last time we had a team meal. It's about saying, what are we doing for training so that we understand how to do BDD? We learned about BDD, but we need the 3-day class. Can you help me with that? The team needs to provide that impediment. Say, we want to do BDD, but we don't understand it. We want to use Docker, but we don't understand containers. We want to do CI, but we heard about the CI pipeline tool, but we're not sure how to do it. Team needs to raise those impediments. But my struggle as a manager, other than making the clicker works, is that people don't raise them. How many times have you sat in a daily stand-up, people say, well, I did this yesterday, I'm going to work on this today, no impediments. Everybody goes around, no impediments, no impediments, no impediments. You go to the retrospective, well, what do we need to do? Well, I could learn to type faster, right? So silence is not acceptable. Management needs to say, no, guys, you got to tell me. You can't sit on it, especially who's a meek, mild person. You look like a meek, mild person. You don't talk very much, right? I can pick on him because he was in a session with me, right? If you got this person that you know is smart because you hired him, right? And you've kept him and you've paid him a lot of money, but he's not speaking up, manager's job is to go and extract, say, talk to me. We got to help be that coach. Like the number 1 thing we said, coach him to say, how do we get this communication out? Now, I don't know about you guys, but I find it a lot, the male-female thing, right? Sometimes we'll get a female that feels, now a lot of times females are awesome and they take care of themselves, but sometimes we get guys who talk too much, right? You and I, we talk too much, blah, blah, blah. And those girls, they don't want to talk because we're talking. We're loud, right? And if I'm loud, I must be right. Stop that. Yes, Amit?
Using the whiteboard is also a good idea to start discussions.
Whiteboarders are awesome. This is the best technology ever invented, right? If you do silent stuff where everybody writes something down and you don't, what we call a anchor, right? Everybody writes and then everybody puts it up. So instead of Amit being the guy that anchors, say, well, I know what our real problem is. We need to upgrade from Java 7 to Java 8. And anybody else that says anything else is stupid. All the feedback just stopped, right? Right? So we have to be careful of that. And using whiteboards and stickies and whatnot to help do that. That's a powerful topic. So be honest and transparent. Again, you guys said the same thing. Be honest. You're asking your managers to be honest and transparent. The problem is some managers feel the need, how do I say this? Some conversations are hard. We're all human. It's really tough for me to tell you that the team doesn't like working with you. Now, the team has come to me and said, we don't like working with them. But how do I have that conversation? Guess what? It's no more easier for me than it is for you. So, but it's incumbent on management to be honest and be transparent about what those initiatives are. Like, we want to have an initiative to sit together. Well, until we move to the new building, I can't do anything about it. And here's our status. We're going to go, we can help design the new building. It's probably going to happen in December. And here's what's going on. So the managers, you or ask your managers to be open and transparent about it. Just like a Scrum Master tracks impediments and impediment removal, same kind of thing for the manager. Again, hardware's cheaper than people. I was looking at this workstation over here. It's a nice HP 4600 Xeon processor, right? Way more expensive than a dual core Pentium, right? But hardware is so cheap compared to people. But much like we do with people, where we say, well, she's only $36 and she's $34, so I want to use her. We make these stupid mistakes, cheap mistakes about people, but we're just as bad with hardware. We're saying, well, who cares if this thing's $1,000 versus $600? In the big scheme of things, it doesn't matter. Now, if we're just comparing laptops, oh, it's $400 more. Who cares? Stop the insanity. Work with managers to pick the best means of making progress. Managers have to manage up, right? As we go through, you guys probably know Solutions IQ, we do agile transformations for big companies. We help people. And a lot of that is working with middle management, senior management on how they're going to change. Because if they don't change, they're going to get the same results. So that's management's job, is to figure out how to go forward. And you hopefully have heard the phrase servant leadership. This is absolutely appropriate for Scrum Masters, but it's true for management as well. Lead by serving and serve by leading. If you don't know the phrase, please look it up. It's a powerful concept. What Vibhu was saying about expanding your mind. You take this attitude in life, things are going to change for the better. So the Agile Manifesto is for managers, individuals and interactions. Well, guess what? People are hard to deal with. If you're just dealing with technology, that's simple. And it's so easy for managers to default to, well, you got to fill in your time card, and if you have expenses, you have to put it in the system, otherwise I can't do anything for you, right? It's so easy to default to that instead of breaking those barriers and allow it to be more reasonable. Customer collaboration, and again, this is hard. Are we truly going to get to the concept of collaborating with customers on scope and date? Yes, it is possible. We are doing it. If people think it's impossible, they're wrong. But this is an opportunity for management to do it. And as we talked about trust, again, you guys said trust. This is an opportunity to build trust with your customers. And the way you build trust is through delivering. Working software. Now, you guys know what CYA is, right? Where you want to protect your rear end. If there's a culture of CYA where people have to write status reports and do status meetings, and it's a lot of behavior that's wasteful. It's wasteful. You spend much more time on that instead of delivering features and other stuff. But managers can be part of the solution instead of part of the problem, right? The classic one I always laugh at is when things get tough. You're getting towards the implementation deadline, or you're right at it, and things aren't going well. Well, we need to have daily status meetings. What? In fact, we need to have twice-a-day status meetings so I can report to senior management, right? Right? It's crazy. Stop. You're part of the problem. There's no work getting done when they're providing you status. Respond to change. Now, that's hard when your pay is based on milestones, but we all know it's better for the customer. Over and over, we deliver stuff that the customers said they wanted 6 months ago. And now that we deliver, it's like, well, I really don't care about most of that. If you look at the chaos studies, we see huge percentages of features we deliver are never used. Stop. So, DoD, everybody knows what definition of done is, and you're using it, right? And if you're not, that's your other takeaway from the day. For a manager, definition of done is your friend. Because the manager can ask for certain things. For example, one of my deals is always that any production code has to be reviewed. Now, if you've paired on it, easy peasy. Otherwise, somebody else has to look at it. Monet was talking this morning about bugs. One of our issues, and she talked about it on releases, it's true for us on the sprint basis. If there's a known bug, the feature's not done. That's part of our story definition done within the sprint. Right? How do we get 0 bugs? We just don't allow them to get out. Just say no. And you have to do the Italian, it's mea culpa. We have to say, I'm sorry. We thought we were done, but we got a bug and we couldn't fix it, so this thing is really not done. It's either done or not done, right? It's binary. So you can influence it. If you work in a compliance environment, you can say, look, team, I know it's not fun. I know what you really want to do is write software, but we need this documentation in order to pass the auditors. But, oh, by the way, Agile, Scrum, and XP are way more compliant than standard ways of doing things. Way more efficient, way more reproducible, way more traceable for those things. So anybody that says, well, we're in a regulated environment, we can't do that, not true. Now, DoD, the manager can help, but then the teams need to commit. The teams need to say, yes, this is our definition of done, right? Then the team needs to make sure they don't lie to themselves by saying, well, it was almost done, so we're going to call it done. That's a slippery slope. Don't go that way. So DoD for all teams. Again, takeaway. Make sure every team that you are on or that you work with has the definition of done. Oh, by the way, put it on a piece of paper and post it on the wall. And this is a great thing to review at your retrospective. If you're running out of things, have you done 26 retrospectives in a row? And you're like, well, have we checked our DoD recently and our working agreement recently? This is a great thing to talk about there. So here's the other one that's an old truism, that high quality was expensive, right? High quality means we're going to go slower. And it's just not true. If you take time to have the conversation, you will have simpler designs, and you're going to write less code and define the test first. You're going to write less bugs versus, oh, we got to go. Let's just start. Those guys will test later, and we're going to come up with this weird, complex design that's not simple, but it'll work. We're going to write a lot more code, and we're never going to take time to refactor. We're going to test after, and we're going to write more bugs. Again, it's not even question. It's verifiable. It's data. It's not an opinion. Higher quality means higher productivity. Quality is not only free, but it's cheap. It's the value. Quality is the value. You guys all need to commit as teams to help your teams to commit to quality. Please.
Test first.
Yep.
So are you suggesting that after, when the sprint starts, first we should write the test cases for the stories and then move on to the development?
Yes, mostly. If we're doing BDD, right, we tend to write those tests actually in the grooming session before the sprint starts. And we can have executable requirements. From a unit test perspective, it's hand in glove with writing the code. You write a test, you write the code, write a test, write the code, write a test, write the code. So I wouldn't say you would write, and hopefully you guys get this, but I'll say it anyway. You would not spend the first 3 days writing unit tests, right? You write a test, make the code pass. Write a test, make the code pass. Does that make sense?
It does, but I mean to say, like our team, we develop and we do write the test cases for us.
Yep.
So, but if we write the test cases, shouldn't be there, it's a perception that these tests needs to pass.
Yes.
So, and these are going to fail. So, shouldn't there be different perspectives when we are writing the test cases?
By the end of the sprint,
Yeah.
the tests need to pass, right?
Yeah.
That's really the point. Now, the red-green build, right, red-green refactor builds that we have, that's going to happen, right? You may have a red build for 2 days because we've got a test that we've written that's taken us much longer than we thought to get it to pass. That may happen. Now, you may say, I've got a test that's going to require multiple sprints worth of functionality to make pass. I would tend not to put that in the CI until all that functionality is done. Because you're going to say, yeah, it fails. Well, I know it's failed. I haven't written that code yet. I'm not going to write it for 2 more sprints. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay,
Thanks.
cool. Let me see.
About
that one?
definition of done, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So should it be more, generic like team agreements or rules of engagement, and definition of done could be part of that?
Rules of engagement are the working agreement.
Yeah.
There's 2 things that teams should do. Working. Here's how we work. Here's our core hours. Here's how we're doing code reviews. Here's our test IDE that we're going to use. That's our working agreement. DoD says for a story. Now you can do this for a story, a sprint, or a release if you need to. We sometimes separate those out. Like you might do final release documentation till the end of the release, right? So we have multi-layered DoDs. But DoDs is this story done? Not the acceptance criteria. That's per story. DoD applies to all stories. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was just wondering, whether the manager should, ensure that team has, working agreements, and part of that is definition of done and maybe acceptance criteria and maybe other thing like, are you doing pair programming or, that kind of
Yes, and that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying the management should say, we're doing XP. The standard for all the teams is XP. I say, but the standard for my teams is all code is reviewed. All code that goes to production is reviewed, right? All code is tested. No test escape the sprint. No, if you got open test, don't do it. Now, I will say that most of that actually comes from the team, not from management. Okay? Because again, you don't want to, as a manager, impose things that the team says, I can't do that, right? So, just real quick to reiterate, it starts with people. What a concept. Even though we work in technology, it's not about the technology. It's about the people. Get the right people. Much like you guys said here, share the mission. Tell people why we're doing what we're doing. Oh, we're doing a time tracking system. Who cares about a freaking time tracking system? Oh, it's cloud-based, and we're going to be able to do SIM cards, and we're going to do fingernail scanning, and blah, 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 and it's going to be so much better. Oh, okay, cool. Let me do that. I'll sign up for that. Share the mission. Again, this is management's job. And if you'll do that, and then you talk about the practices, and you support the practices, katas, and you support it via coaching and learning, then you'll have good practices that constantly improve. This is not a stable point, right? When we do our coaching, we don't talk about best practices because that assumes that there's a top. That's why there's no top on this pyramid. It says, well, we're done and we're never going to get better. That's just so not the case. In fact, it's one of the XP's basic rules. Fix XP when it's broken, right? If it's not work for you, fix it. Do something different. That's how you get to 0 bugs. And again, I've had 0 bugs, right? Again, it's one of the reasons is we don't allow bugs to escape. If we know about bugs, the feature's not done. If we don't know about bugs, they could potentially escape a sprint. At a team, it took a 9-month deliverable. We finally went live. We were part of a bigger program that had 5 other teams. We went live, and then we didn't hear anything from the customer. We said, well, how was that go live? He said, well, you guys didn't have any problems. We found one thing. There was a typo. After 9 months, we'd misspelled the word. He said, well, what about the other? Well, the other team has 463 bugs. You guys had 1 typo. So I know it's possible. It's not hypothetical. It's not one of those stupid posters you see on the wall, the 0 bugs, those stupid, horrible posters. By the way, if you're in management, tear down those posters. Hey, teamwork, excellence. Come on, that doesn't work. So 0 bugs on a poster doesn't matter. The team caring about 0 bugs is what matters. So it's simple but hard. So help your people, help them read, help train them. Start this excellent process. Get coaching on the deal. And don't give up. Don't get frustrated like, God dang it, this BDD thing, I don't understand. It feels wasteful. I don't know why we're doing this. Don't give up. Keep going. Keep trying on that kind of stuff, right?
I have a question regarding that best practices.
Okay.
Today's world, there are a lot of practices.
Yep.
Thinks it's the best.
He's talking about practices. Go.
Yeah, I want to get your opinion in terms of maybe top 5 best practices from your point of view. To ensure we are moving towards 0 bugs. Some top 5 or some top N, whatever you feel.
Well, honestly, the practices are XP. It's pretty simple to me. Now, I'm not talking about refactoring the patterns or what Tim talked about, how you're doing concurrency or simple design. Those are some advanced topics. BDD is an advanced topic. Feature flags, the talk yesterday about feature flags was awesome, by the way, is a little bit of advanced topic. From practices perspective, write tests all the time. Pair or code review all the time. Integrate all the time. Look for simple design. Refactor all the time. Those are the practices. If you do those, you will get excellent results. A lot of times people say, well, yeah, it doesn't work here. We don't have time, or we got to shift this thing, or I don't like working with her, so I don't want to pair with her. Get over it. Figure it out. But it works. And it's because it's really about getting better. XP is all about getting better. That's what your retrospectives are about. That's why you're here. By the way, I'm not blowing smoke at you. The fact that you guys are here, that you gave up a Saturday to come here, means you guys are the 1%. You guys are the people that are going to go run the companies. You are the guys that are going to help change this country and change your products and change the world because you care about getting better. You invested your time and effort to come here and participate and ask great questions on stuff. That's how this works. So this is a little philosophy for you just to end with. And it's kind of tough sometimes because managers, few people will pat your back, right? Because it really comes down to, it's like a great coach. Few people say, oh, wow, look at the team won, yay. It's all because of the coach. No, it's because of the players, right? Everybody celebrates the players. They get the cool shampoo ads and the jewelry ads and stuff, right? The coach doesn't get that. But that's what a manager's job is. So, again, just one more time. Figure out a way to let excellent developers be excellent developers. Don't just promote them, right? To the degree that you guys go off and run management groups and become dev managers or QA managers, that's great. Remember some of this. More importantly, remember what you guys wrote down. That's it. I got a whole bunch of crap that you don't want to do. One word, idempotent. Everybody know what idempotent is? It means every time you run it, you get the same results. Really powerful for testing. I got another one for you. Fungible. Fungible developers means they're replaceable. It's horrible. It says, if I fire you, I can hire her and get the same exact results. It's so dehumanizing. It's horrible. It makes me mad. But it happens all the frickin' time. Now, code that's fungible is a different topic. People are not fungible. Managers should not treat people as fungible resources. A desk is a desk. A person is not a person.
Again, I have a question. So what the pattern that I have observed is, the higher an engineer grows in his career, the managers or the leadership gives them the implicit, gives them the expectation, you should also start showing your leadership skills, where, they are asked to mentor people, all sort of unproductive things which doesn't help, which doesn't actually, doesn't Scrum team do. Okay, you should know how to coach people, you should know how to mentor people, you should also try to get some mentorship. Okay,
Yep.
All unproductive things. I have seen this pattern in every industry. Okay, what this is you become principal engineer, you become VP fellow. Okay, you still have to need to fill multiple dimensions. Okay.
Yes.
Thought leadership dimensions. What is your point of view on that? Shouldn't be engineers focusing on, as the level grows, but still be close to technology, spending 80% of the time there. But the managers, the leadership, what I'm hearing is 50-50, they are saying.
I'm with you. I think I'm with you. So the question is, can you stay technical and still be a manager, essentially, right? Well, but there should be another track out there. If you're an architect, be a coding architect. Take the title of architect, because then your wife will be proud of you and you'll get a bonus, right? Rock on, you get a new car, right? That's awesome, but keep your hands dirty, right? The horrible thing that has happened, we made him an architect, we gave him the new car, and he stopped coding. We stopped getting excellence from him, right? Oh, by the way, he's a horrible manager. Right? He's a great architect and a great developer, but maybe not so good on the management side. So, yes, but it's a balance. It is a balance, right? There's a lot of people say the best CEOs are lawyers. Really? That's horrible, right? So we need to get to the point, and we are getting to the point. You know the top 5 most valuable companies in the world? So, right? Amazon, Facebook, Microsoft, Google. There's one, an oil company, Exxon. 4 of the 5 didn't exist 20 years ago, really. Apple almost died, right? That's how we're changing the world. Technology companies are ruling. You guys are going to rule. And you are the new ruling class. You are the guys that are going to change self-driving cars and telemedicine and teleportation, right? That's you guys. That's why this is important. All right, that's it. I'm going to stop. Thank you. If we have any questions, we got more questions. I can hang around. How are we on time, though?
We are up with the time. Maybe
we're done with
questions,
time, so
we can take it off.
I'm always out around, and I'll come outside. Thank you a lot, guys.
Thank you very much, David.